Hi, I'm Deborah Callahan, and as a follow-up to my first video, I'll be speaking today with Father Tom Gallagher, pastor of St. Francis of Assisi Church in New York City. Father Tom is a fierce advocate for suicide awareness and prevention, and someone I consider an absolute master at helping people, including me, find meaning after experiencing traumatic loss. So thank you so much for being here, Father Tom.
Oh, it's good to be with you, and this is such an important topic to open up for people and really to give some people freedom from so many of the things, the pressures and the shame and guilt that people place on other people.
Exactly. So to start off, I'd like to clear up the misconception around suicide being a crime. Can you speak a little bit to that?
So I think, as from a church perspective, look at crime or sin, we need to look at this much more broadly and recognize that that suicide is a disease and people struggle with the disease. And sometimes people are in remission for a very long time. Sometimes people simply, it just comes upon them and they die by suicide. But I don't think we can look at that in terms of shame or guilt or sin, as much as we look at that in terms of how great is the struggle that some people have in life, and that it just gets so strong for some people that they're just overwhelmed by it. So I think we need to move aside from legal jargon, from church jargon in terms of sin, and move to a place of compassion and of openness to the grace of God that's always present.
Wonderful. Okay, so aside from changing the language around suicide, what are some other things we can do to help increase our own compassion around this subject?
Well, I think for me, a lot of times I think we need to be able to reflect on the giftedness of each other. And so many people have not heard or been able to hear how gifted they are. And sometimes we get caught up in someone else's spiral where they're struggling and we can't figure out what to do and we want to fix things. And we don't step back to look at how brave and courageous they are simply to enter into the struggle, or to step back and look at, on the larger picture, what are this person's gifts and how have I been the beneficiary of these gifts, whatever they could be, because we're all remarkably gifted and we need to be able to affirm each other in giftedness and to be companions for each other in this journey of life, without stepping on the other person, but allowing the space for each person's gift to develop. And I think sometimes, one of the things that opened up for me, this sense of the importance of this, is just the preponderance of gay teen suicide and how many of these young people don't feel supported, don't feel that they can't understand their value because some of the adults in their lives have simply pushed them out.
Sure.
And sometimes, they just carry that for the rest of their lives, not completing suicide but they have this wound that's there and that continues to be a part of their lives. So I think really the increase in compassion is a very clear focus on gift and on really the strength and courage that so many people have simply to get up in the morning. It's just amazing.
For sure. Thank you. From all of your experience guiding people through the shock of sudden loss, what would be the one thing that you would want everyone to know?
I think the most important thing is simply to be present. There's no platitudes, there's nothing you can say, but you can simply be there. Mm-hmm. And let the person lead where they need to go. And a lot of our culture is sort of antiseptic, and sometimes it's just holding the person and letting them fall apart or letting them go where they need to go, but respecting the person, and just being as present and just following where you're being led.
Thank you. Thank you. That's beautiful and great advice. So thank you so much for your words. Will be so comforting to so many people, I'm sure. If anyone would like to find out more about the work of Father Tom and the Franciscan Friars in New York City, you can go to stfrancisnyc.org or follow them on Facebook. Thank you so much, Father Tom, for taking time out of your busy schedule to chat with me today. And again, I'm sure these words will be a comfort to so many people. Thank you so
God
much.
bless. Thank you very much. We'll keep you all in prayer, of course.
Thank you.
Thank you.